It has been confirmed Mick Schumacher will finally have the opportunity to drive the Mercedes W14. Schumacher has patiently awaited his chance to once again sit behind the wheel of a Formula One car since being dropped by Haas at the end of the 2023 season. Let's dive into the details. Schumacher last drove an F1 car at the 2022 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, his final start for Haas, where he finished 16th. Mick's time with Haas came to an end due to a series of costly crashes and a lack of significant points scored. Mick was dropped by Haas in favour of a more experienced driver, Nico Hülkenberg. However, it didn't take long for Mercedes to recognise Mick's potential and swoop in to secure his services. The team not only saw his talent, but also appreciated the sentimental aspect of having him on board given his father's influence in establishing Mercedes' presence in Formula One. The Schumacher name carries immense weight in the world of motorsport, particularly due to Mick's father, the legendary Michael Schumacher. Michael had his own stint with Mercedes in Formula One from 2010 to 2012. Prior to that, he played a vital role in the development of Mercedes' junior driver program and also contributed to their World Sports Prototype Championship team during the 1990s. The father-son connection adds a layer of romanticism to Mick's association with the Mercedes team. As a reserve driver for the Silver Arrows, Mick is eagerly waiting for an opportunity to return to a full-time race seat and prove his skills on the track. But for now, Mick is focused on his responsibilities with Mercedes. He has been given an incredible chance to drive the W14 car at a special test organised by Pirelli, the tyre supplier, right after the Spanish Grand Prix in Barcelona. So far, Mick Schumacher has been working on the simulator, gathering as much information as possible to help Russell and Lewis Hamilton on the track. Recently, he spoke about his Mercedes role in an interview with F1, saying, "Firstly, I do have the experience of driving last year's car, which is the new generation. That means the approaches that I will have in the simulator will be very similar to the ones the racing drivers will have on the track." He added, "In terms of that direct comparison, I'll be able to talk about time models, talk about how the car behaves or should behave, and therefore we'll be able to change and adapt the simulator pretty quickly. Hopefully, with that in mind, we'll be able to give the team reliable feedback, but also a set of options that will work on the track." After spending time in a simulated environment, the 24-year-old will now get to show his skills on the track, which could aid in him getting a race seat in the future. Mercedes confirmed the plan in a social media post on Wednesday. George Russell will be driving the car on Tuesday before Schumacher gets his chance behind the wheel for the second part of the 2-day test in place of Lewis Hamilton, who is not scheduled to take part. Mercedes will be joined at the Pirelli tyre test by Ferrari. They will conduct 2 days training running each to develop the compounds and constructions for next year, according to Pirelli Motorsport Director Mario Isola. Schumacher's experience working with Mercedes will certainly put him in a strong position to secure a place on the grid next season, especially due to how he has been able to learn from Hamilton and Russell. However, Mercedes chief Toto Wolff has admitted it will be tough for the 24-year-old to land a race seat for 2024. The Austrian said, "It's a difficult situation because Mercedes is closed and I would wish for Mick to get a seat and he deserves it. The situation in 2024 is unfavourable. In 2025, a few doors will open again, but we have to wait and see how things develop at Williams, so it's not easy. We have to be careful because if we support Mick too much, then of course there are critics who would like to make things difficult, who then come crawling out of the woodwork." Hamilton is expected to sign a new Mercedes contract, while the likes of Red Bull, Aston Martin, Ferrari, Alpine, and McLaren all have their 2024 driver lineups confirmed. A Haas return is extremely unlikely, meaning only AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, and Williams are potentially realistic destinations for Schumacher next season. One of the advantages of being a reserve driver for Mercedes is the potential for multiple opportunities with different teams. While substitute appearances in Formula One are rare, recent seasons have seen a few drivers getting their chance. Mercedes, known for their own reserve drivers, has also made their reserves available to their customer teams. This became evident when Nick De Vries, a Mercedes reserve driver, made his F1 debut as a substitute for Alex Albon at Williams during the Italian Grand Prix. De Vries was also on standby for McLaren in Brazil when Lando Norris fell ill. It is logical to assume that Mick Schumacher will be an option for Williams to consider next year. Aston Martin, on the other hand, has Stoffel Van Dorn as part of their driver lineup, providing them with ample coverage. Van Dorn himself came close to getting a chance as a Mercedes reserve driver. He narrowly missed out on driving in place of Lewis Hamilton at the 2020 Sakhir Grand Prix because George Russell, who was part of the Mercedes driver pool at the time, was driving for Williams and was considered a better candidate. The key takeaway here is that while it may be unlikely, Schumacher has given himself the best opportunity for potential appearances in 2023 by joining Mercedes as their reserve driver. However, when it comes to the longer term, Mercedes is unlikely to be a direct stepping stone for a race seat in 2024. Even if Schumacher impresses Mercedes behind the scenes and proves himself as a strong contender, it is simply unlikely that there will be a seat available for him within the team. However, there will be opportunities for Schumacher elsewhere, depending on the strength of his case. If the 2023 driver pairing of Albon and Logan Sargent at Williams doesn't work out, or if Albon is recruited by another team, it is entirely possible to envision Schumacher getting a chance there. Having experience with the Mercedes power unit and the opportunity to further develop himself as a driver would make Schumacher a viable candidate for a seat at Williams. Jost Capito, former Williams team boss, even claimed that Schumacher was on their shortlist for 2023. The combination of familiarity with the Mercedes engine and the chance to refine his skills could open doors for Schumacher in the future. One of the intriguing possibilities for Mick Schumacher's future lies outside of Mercedes, with Audi potentially identifying him as a candidate for their Sauber-run works team in 2026. Audi has already expressed the benefits of having a German driver for their project, and Schumacher appears to be the most suitable contender, considering Nico Hülkenberg's age when the 2026 season arrives. While Sauber, currently known as Alfa Romeo in Formula 1, confirmed Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu as their driver lineup for the 2023 season, their deal with Alfa Romeo ends the following year. At that point, the influence of Audi may begin to surface. Bringing Schumacher into the fold would provide the team an opportunity to acclimate him in 2024, with the expectation of significant progress in his development as a driver in 2025, leading up to the full Audi rebrand. Ideally, Audi would still desire a top-tier driver to spearhead the project. Although Schumacher may not be a future world champion, he possesses qualities that could make him an effective support driver for a leading team. Schumacher himself has expressed his determination to prove his critics wrong and showcase his abilities in Formula 1, stating, "I've proven that in the junior categories, and I don't see a reason why I can't do that in Formula 1 either." While the exact path for Schumacher's future remains speculative at this stage, the desire to return to the F1 grid in 2024 is evident, with his current employer in 2023 being an unlikely option. The work Schumacher undertakes with Mercedes in 2023 will hold value, but ultimately, it is his performance and contributions towards his prospects for 2024 that will carry greater significance. While Mercedes would likely prefer to keep him involved for another year, Mick may decide that his long-term future lies beyond Formula 1, prompting a move to another racing series instead. What's your thought about Mick Schumacher's future in F1? Let us know in the comments section below. That will be all for today's video. Thanks for staying tuned. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you can always get to watch more amazing videos like this. See you in the next video.